It was just past midnight when the sound of shattering glass snapped me out of sleep. My ranch house sits a quarter-mile from the nearest road, so I knew right away whoever was breaking in wanted to be there. I grabbed the flashlight, slipped on my boots, and gave a quiet whistle. That was all my German Shepherd, Rex, needed to hear. He stood, tail low, muscles coiled, eyes locked on the hallway. Then I heard it again, the unmistakable click of a door unlocking. Someone had used a master key. I killed the lights and waited behind the kitchen wall. A silhouette appeared, petite, sharp-shouldered, holding a clipboard like a sword. And then I heard her voice. "I'm just checking for safety violations," she hissed. Karen, the self-appointed property inspector of our HOA, even though my ranch wasn't part of her domain. She'd been obsessed with my place for months, claimed my barn lights shone too bright, that my dogs were unregistered security animals, that my fencing didn't meet community spacing. I'd ignored every note she slid under my gate. Apparently, that didn't sit well. Now she was inside my house. I flicked on the flashlight and barked, "Stop right there, Karen." She froze, eyes wide. "Oh, you're awake. I was just doing a wellness check. At 1 in the morning? With a lock-picking kit." Her face twitched. "Well, the HOA gave me a master key for emergencies." I held up my phone. "This isn't HOA property. You just committed a felony." She tried to bluster through it. "You can't talk to me like that. Your dog is dangerous." I heard barking. "That's an HOA violation." Rex stepped forward, silent, head low, growl rumbling like distant thunder. Karen stumbled back. "You see?" she shouted. "He's attacking me." "He hasn't moved closer than 3 feet," I said. "He's trained. He only reacts to trespassers." She blinked. "I'm not trespassing." "Then why did you crawl through my window?" That's when the fear cracked through her composure. She backed into the counter, clipboard trembling. I was checking on the animals. You leave them outside all night." "On a ranch," I said slowly. "That's called normal." I dialed the sheriff. Karen started to panic. "No, don't do that. You'll ruin my record. The board will understand." I put the call on speaker. "Hey, Sheriff, got an intruder. HOA president again." The sheriff sighed loud enough for both of us to hear. "Let me guess, Karen?" "Yep. Brought her own key this time." "Stay put. We're on our way." Karen tried to make a run for it, but Rex stepped sideways, blocking the hallway. He didn't growl, didn't bark. Just stood there, a furry wall of judgment. 15 minutes later, red and blue lights painted the windows. The deputies walked in, half-tired, half-amused. One asked, "Ma'am, how'd you get in here?" Karen pointed at me. "He gave me the key months ago." I raised an eyebrow. "Really? Then why did I find this in your purse?" I held up the lock-picking tool she'd dropped. The deputy exhaled. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for breaking and entering." She gasped. "I was protecting the community. His animals are too violent." The deputy glanced at Rex, who was now lying down and yawning. "Yeah, looks vicious." Karen was still ranting as they led her out in cuffs. "You people don't understand leadership. Someone has to uphold standards." The sheriff, leaning against his cruiser, shook his head. "She ever gonna learn?" "Doubt it," I said. "But Rex sure enjoys the practice." A week later, the HOA board held an emergency meeting and finally voted to remove her as president. The county hit her with a fine for trespassing and property damage. I replaced the locks, added security cameras, and printed a little sign for my gate: "Private property, protected by a dog and a very tired sheriff." That became sort of a local joke. Even the mailman asked if Rex could do Karen checks for the rest of the neighborhood. Sometimes, late at night, I'll sit on the porch, listen to the crickets, and think about that moment when she opened my door. Clipboard shaking, face pale in the flashlight beam. She came expecting to find violent pets. She found boundaries, and a K-9 who doesn't take HOA nonsense. Paw prints,